Record the cloud. All right, kids, we are in business.
This is me. Okay, it's got me there now. Okay. Let's give ourselves a shot here at recording. Okay.
For some reason, our sound is doubling up. I'm not sure what's up with that.
That's because the other guys have their mics on.
Okay, so we might need to mute. Muting. Paul, perhaps. How does that do? Is that
And go for Rod. Just if you do the group,
already
the group mute, and then that way you have to tell me I can talk too. And then whenever anybody wants to put their hands up, they actually can. They can say, "I got a question."
Yes. Well, I think we're good to go now. It looks like we are live. We are recording. We are the Khan family, kids, and we have a very simple mission.
Yeah. Say, I got a question. Yes.
Oh, it's
Well, I think we're good to go now. It looks like we are live. We are recording. We are the Khan family.
What is going on around this joint today? I'm having all kinds of technical issues today.
Maybe put your earphones
There's
in.
no feedback somewhere.
Let's see.
We're getting feedback from somebody.
How and why is it happening? So, anyway.
You know, that works like an operator.
It's operator problems. Yes, I see.
Do you have headphones?
My brain cell is all messed up today. I'm having all kinds of issues today with video and Facebook and all kinds of things. But yeah, so we are the Khan family, kids, and we are just here with this real simple mission. We just want to change the world. And people might think that's kind of crazy, but the truth of the matter is that's exactly what's happening. We are changing the world. We are changing the world one glass of 9.5 hydrogen-rich water at a time, one incredible guest, one lightning bolt in a box at a time. And today we have Mr. Sean Rice from Florida, from Tampa, Florida?
Well, today I'm actually, I live between Tampa and Toronto, and today I'm in Toronto.
Today you're in Toronto. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, yeah. So Sean, how's the weather up there in Toronto? Man, what a bummer for the Raptors last night that they couldn't close that thing out.
1 point, right? Like, oh my gosh, like what can you do? But it's a beautiful day here, and no matter what, those two teams are slugging it out, and it is a great match between two teams, two great teams. One we're waiting for history to be made. The other one we're waiting for history to be made as well, because multiple championship rings, that's phenomenal for the Golden State Warriors. And really, I hope for the Raptors too, because they're freaking awesome. So pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be neat. It'd be really neat to see Toronto win it. Quite frankly, I'm sick of Golden State, but you know, you gotta appreciate what they've done. You know, anytime you see excellence like that, you have to.
The thing I think about Toronto over the Golden State Warriors is the fact that the role models that they're playing right now. So we see some great players like Curry and others that are on the team for the Golden State Warriors, but there's so peak and valleys. So there's a lot of anger out there that's coming from that team, and they're not sizzling, connecting with one another. But then you watch the Raptors. There's this calm, cool collective out there. They don't have peaks. They don't have valleys. They have got one rhythm, and it's just constantly go. And it's like no stopping of attack. And if they make a mistake, they don't let them get themselves down. The frustration doesn't build in. They attack again. And so this is the part that I really am excited for Toronto, because we haven't seen something like that from a Toronto team. Like, if they win, it'll be epic.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see it happen. It'll be interesting to be able to watch Thursday's game and see what's going on there. But hey, everybody, good to see all of you on the live side. Sorry about the technical issues, but hey, we are up and running now. And so we have this goal. We want to change the world. We're doing it. It's happening. And today we've got Sean Rice in the house. And Sean, I want to start this out the way I start out every meeting, and that is that you know, I'm always curious about three things from everybody that comes in, because I'm really, you know, this is part of the whole storytelling, because people are aware that it was a story that changed my life. It wasn't all the technical garbage or any of that kind of stuff. It wasn't the data. No, it was a real life story. And so that's one of my goals, is to get people in here and hear their stories. And the first part of that is number one, how, when, and why did you get involved with Kangen water? And were you a skeptic like I was?
So I'm going to answer the last question first. No, I was not a skeptic. I was actually looking for something to help me to get over an injury that I had. So the very, very first day that I was actually introduced to the water was because I was, if you know, like Dancing with the Stars, Christina Lee is in the house. If you know, Christina is my hero. She's my superhero. Listen, when I actually started drinking the water, it was because I was actually performing on a TV show in England, and I had an injury from it, and it scarred my lung. And it was from smoke inhalation, doing a 77-minute trailer for a commercial. Anyway, we were in this gas that was coming down from the sky, and one thing led to another. I got breathing it in too much, and being the biggest figure skater, I am a figure skater, breathing this gas in, I got 3 scars on my lower left lobe of my lung. So over 2 years, I was looking for a solution. I literally lost 22% of my lung capacity to be able to function properly, and it really hurt. Every day I was coughing up blood, and one thing led to another. I started drinking alkaline water, I was loving it because I was actually absorbing some of it, but I didn't really know what was going on in the background. So here I am doing these ice shows, which my wife and I perform in, and we're doing the ice show, and I'm literally getting off the ice every time, and I'm coughing up blood, and I have a towel at the side of the ice, coughing up blood into the towel, trying to slow down the amount of oxygen and CO2 transfer just to get the burn gone. So one of my buddies, he finally said to me, he's like, brother, why don't you just try this water and see? I see you're drinking alkaline water, but my water's alkaline, but maybe it'll help you more. So I'm like, sure, I'll try anything, because I needed to get off the medicines for me, because the inhalers that I was on, I was literally shaking every time. And being a professional athlete, you don't want to shake when you have somebody's life up above your head and you're tossing them 17 feet in the air and you're trying to catch them. Right after that, I literally started drinking the Kangen water at this show. So my buddy said, come to my room. I have my Sunus machine. And this was 5 years ago. He didn't have ST501 there. This is just the original Sunus. And I'm sitting there and I'm drinking the water, start drinking the water. Day number 2, I was literally looking for a miracle. And I was nothing, absolutely nothing. Then day number 2 comes along. Day number 3 comes along, nothing. But day number 4, day number 5, for sure, there was this moment that I was like walking off the ice, and I said to Jodina, I think I'm getting my breathing spots. I'm not hurting as bad doing this number. And she's like, cool, great. Day number 6 came, and I walk off the ice like I could talk to you right now. And I was like, get out of here. So at this theater in Toronto that we were performing at, it's called the Princess of Wales Theater. For us to go from the stage level to our dressing room, you have to walk down 2 stories. So the very first 2 weeks I was like drinking this water, or like not drinking the Kangen water itself, but the other water, I was literally doing my thing, walking down the stairs, and I was always burning with lactic acid. But this day number 6, I literally walked down the stairs and no burn. I'm like, get out of here. Like, this is phenomenal. So my wife, being ultra competitive, like, because we're world-class athletes in the past, right? But we're still high-performance entertainment sportsmen. And she's like, the competitor comes out of her and she's like, shit, if that's working for him, I need to try this. So she starts drinking the water without me knowing. This run for the show was like 4 weeks long. So I actually got introduced to it for 4 weeks before I ever bought my machine. My wife is the eternal skeptic. I am going to tell you, I'm the guy that's always looking for solutions or possibilities. She's the eternal skeptic. And I literally sat there and in the dressing room, and I wrote out all the papers for my K8, because K8 had just come out. It was just new on the market. I'm like, I want the best of the best because this water is already helping me. So $5,000 I write down. It's coming from the Florida office to my house in Florida. I didn't tell her that I had bought it. And she's like telling me, we don't need to spend $5,000. We don't need that at all. But on the taxes that following year, she had calculated that I had spent in 6.5 months, $3,700 on alkaline water, in bottled water alone. And I'm like, wow, this is wild. So here we are. We get to our house in Florida. I still have yet to tell her that I bought this machine, and it's sitting at our place. As soon as we got off the air from the airport to the house, it's sitting outside our door. And she's like, "You bought the machine." She was so peeved with me. I'm not joking. She was so peeved with me. And I'm like, listen, it's working on me already. But she didn't already tell me that she had been drinking the water for 3 weeks, that her arthritis was starting to feel better too. But I could feel her grips getting better when we were actually performing. So here we are. We get it. I get it installed in our home. Had no idea about the business, like no idea about the other possibilities. I was just drinking the water. We started traveling with the unit. So our K8 that's actually sitting in my mom's kitchen right now has been to 40 countries since we have bought it. One of the reasons I bought the K8 is because I only needed one machine to take with me around the world. So I never had to buy another unit. The Pulmicort and Symbicort and Ventolin, I had a big stockpile, and I was spending like in Florida like $460 a month just for those medicines. Eventually, for me, I was able to start to let it go. And I was like, yes, because I've always been a clean athlete all my life. I never had drugs. Getting an Advil across my lips was really hard. Like, I did everything naturally, and I took real pride and honor in that. So in the sport of in athletics, right, taking certain cough tablets you can't do. We didn't have to do that. I just was always trying to stay clean. Okay, so let's go across a year and a half again, and here I am. Never have shared the water except for 2 people. I start coaching and I start giving the water to a bunch of my students. So like there's 10 or 12 kids all on the water. So what we started to find is that the health performance aspect alone of the water became so powerful that I had no lactic acid. So in the sport of ice skating, a lot of people don't really realize how difficult it is. We make it look easy, but I'm telling you, you are literally playing. To give you an idea, if you're a hockey guy, one long program is equal to playing an hour straight of any energy expenditure. That's no breaks throughout the hour. So it gives you an idea of how to gauge it. And I was what's called a short program skater. I could actually sprint and push 2 minutes and 30 seconds out, no problem. But when I got to the 3:15 mark of a 5-minute program, lactic acid would build up and I was totally toast. So I noticed a few things that started disappearing in my life, and I was a Gatorade drinker. I loved the flavor of Gatorade. I had no idea the damage it was doing to me on the inside and the addiction to it. I'll come back to that a little bit later because I can't tell you that it's a bad product. I just can tell you that I found something better for me and multiple people. As I was starting to use the water, though, it was amazing because I discovered Dr. Peggy Parker. And nobody explained to us what all the other buttons did. And I'm looking at this, like, start experimenting and doing it. And I literally walk into my buddy Richard Chang, his actual store here in Toronto. I came home with my K8 and I'm like, hey, buddy, is there any tap or faucet that I could use? Because we had the hose connected to the, like the hose that pulls out of the sink. And honestly, it didn't work well for me because I'm klutzy and I was like dropping the thing all the time. I was like, there's got to be a better solution. So he tells me about the better solution. But while he was getting me my little faucet, I start looking around his store, and I'm like, Dr. Peggy Parker, who's that? And he's like, oh, that's the lady that does a lot of the experimentations of the waters and teaches you protocols and stuff like that. I'm like, sold. He didn't have just one, but he had 3 books from her. And I was like, cool. So this is where we got going with it. And one thing led to another. We actually eliminated all of our chemicals in our home. We actually eliminated all the needs for stuff that we tried to clean our foods and fruits and vegetables with prior to using the 11.5. We just didn't know. And a lot of people don't know these things that are functional at the moment of this machine right up front. So here we are, the very first day that we got the book and we have our K8, and I brought my K8 back here to Toronto with me, I started experimenting. And then all of a sudden, in our kitchen alone, we have tomatoes. My mom loves tomatoes during the summer especially. And then we start seeing the crap come off of it. We're just like, get out of here. We haven't done this for 2 years. But now we have a chemical-free home. We use the water consistently to clean our fruits and vegetables. We use the water to consistently empower our vegetables to get its charge back. So there's all these positive things that come from it. Here we are 2 years into using the water, and my gosh, Christina Lee walks up to me when I was going to get enhancer fluid at the Toronto store just a few days after I came home with the K8. She's like, hey, I know you. And I'm like, cool. And in Canada, we were on television a lot, like because of skating. And she's like, how are you doing with your sales? I'm like, what do you mean, what sales? And she's like, how are you doing, like, becoming a distributor? And I'm like, I have never sold a machine. She's like, come tonight. And I'm like, no joking. I'm like, we're coming to a religious meeting. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to come. She's like, no, come. So I'm like, okay, I'll come to the I'll come to the meeting tonight. So this wasn't your normal, typical Thursday night meeting with the water. This was just for distributors only. They start talking about the comp plan. What if this happens? What if that happens? And they had it for 4 weeks straight. And I was like, I'm in. I'm 100% in. I had never looked at it in this aspect before. So we go by about 3.5 months. I start sharing the water with people, start giving the water out to people looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, well, you saw that I was on drugs before, which you can't legally say. This is my own testimonial story. It's not like we're supposed to treat, diagnose, or say that we have a cure for anything, but this is my own part where the water affected me. I started learning about what molecular hydrogen was doing inside my body to help me perform better. So I start giving the water out to my students. They start drinking it. We start seeing updates in their skating performance with just water. And I'm like, it really works. Here we go 2.5 years later now, and now we're like double. We have multiple positions, but the thing is, like, the way we built our business, we were so fortunate that we had Tamia and Christina, Rich, and some other people take us under their wing to show us the possibilities of what could happen. And excuse me for 1 second. I'm going to mute my nose because I'm gone. I need to blow my nose. Okay, I'm back. I don't sound like a duck anymore. So here I am. I'm actually learning about the business part and all the things. And we're at like 135 units now sold. 286 people in those families have been using the water for 2.5 years, and it's growing. And even though we haven't hit the 6A mark yet, we're just units away from doing that. We're actually we've been 3 units away twice to do double 6A back to back. And we're on the hunt for that this month right now. But it changed our life in so many ways because it helped us get healthier. It helped us protect our family. And I'll come back to that after in a few minutes with why I really want to live this life.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I honestly didn't even realize that you were a professional athlete, so that's even better. We have even more of a special guest on today, kids. And, yeah, so So you've had some health benefits with your lungs, and that's not even surprising at all to me because of the way this oxygen rich, hydrogen rich water. I actually had a sister. I still have this sister, but she was on oxygen, and she had her little thing on her finger.
Yep, the pulse ox.
She had a 40% oxygen in her blood. And I just happened to have an Nalgene bottle, a 32-ounce Nalgene bottle of 11.5 water. And I said, here, sis, start drinking this. And she got down about a third of it. It took her about 3 minutes to do it.
Yep.
In that 3 minutes, I wish I would have been filming this. This was right in the beginning. And I didn't realize the importance of what I should have been doing. I should have been filming this on my phone. But anyway, her little meter that was on her finger in about 3 minutes went from 40% up to 96%.
Wow, that's
It's about
huge.
3 minutes for it to oxygenate her blood that fast.
Yep.
And I thought, wow, that's incredible. And I was pretty much sold at that point as to what it could do for the human body. And at this point, I want to, before we move into the next little segment, I want to just do our little disclaimer that we always do, and that is that Kong's water doesn't cure anything. It's not a cure to anything. Where the cure is, the cure and the magic is this thing right here. This body machine. This is a machine. It runs on 120 millivolts of electricity and hydrogen. And that's what Kong's water does, is it provides that. It is simply a gift and a tool that was given to us by God and Mr. Oshiro that gives the human body what it needs so it can fix itself. I always say it gives it the tools that it needs so it can become its own mechanic. And that's what the human body is capable of doing, is literally becoming its own mechanic and fixing itself. Like Dr. Barry Yaw says, there is no such thing as an incurable disease. There is a point of no return, but there is no incurable disease. If you give your body what it needs, it can do amazing things to heal itself, as long as you get the process started in time. And so my next question for everybody is always, you've had some health benefits, and like I've mentioned before, is that it was an incredible health story that got me involved with this company after a good 6 months of thinking it was the stupidest thing on the planet. It was an incredible health story where someone's body got what it needed and it fixed itself. And so I always like to try and bring that kind of stuff out, just simply because of the fact that we never know who is going to resonate with your story, because your story might be powerful and you might have gone through the exact same thing that someone else is currently struggling from, and this might very well change their life. But your story with your lungs is really compelling. What other kind of stories have hit you really hard over the last 2.5 years as you've been sharing this water and seen people's lives change? What do you have anything that hit you hard that you'd like to share with people right now?
There is actually a lot. There's actually been a lot of epic emotions, and like you just said a few minutes ago, there's a lot of people that are skeptical about the water and what it can do for you. And when I have seen the power of the things that it does for other people, everybody has their actual own story. And I really do suggest people to go look online for their own personal testimonials, because it's hearsay if they hear it from me. The things that I've seen for myself, I've seen people with problems with skin issues to tumors to you name it. The water has chosen its own path to help that person in its own way. I got to myself to the point where I will talk about me or my wife or my daughter or my mother, and I will go to there, but I can't. I actually make it a rule for myself not to tell about other people's stories, for one reason. A, so it doesn't get any of us in trouble. B, that it doesn't get the company in trouble, because I know that this helps everybody. Really important, because your story and my story are very unique in its own way. But as I've learned and as I've become a businessman, it's been really interesting to watch the kids that we're protecting. So I'm going to give you a little bit of synopsis of what I do out on the ice with the people that I work with. So we work with about 180 students. And with the way things are going right now, I actually stood on the ice one day last year, and I was teaching 90 kids on this one day alone. It was a busy, busy day. So you have to imagine I was on the ice for 8 hours with 90 students. And I stood there and I was like, hey, Jodes, we need to really talk later. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not okay. So these statistics that I've been studying about, they've really impacted me. So to give you an idea why my why is so powerful is because a lot of people don't realize that my father died from cancer. My brother died from cancer. My mother has had cancer and fought through it, but still to this day, 26 years later, she almost died the same year that my dad died. My goal is to beat sickness until I possibly can with no drugs, for me, for my daughter, for my wife. We use that as a secondary system to be our backup instead. So we're holistic first and allopathic as our backup. When I had my dad die in my arms many, many, many moons ago, I just spoke about it yesterday or on Sunday. It really affected me because there are many years that I missed out hanging out with my pop. It was because he was a smoker. My brothers were smokers. But my body didn't resonate with that stuff. I was an athlete. I left home at the age of 11 and a half, 12 years old, and I went to the National Training Center to learn how to become a competitive skater. Throughout those years where I was living, they didn't smoke, they didn't drink, they didn't do drugs. And in my family, we actually had smoking, drinking, and drugs. And I was against all of that. So I'd come home and put myself in a shell and literally close the door because people, not my mom, but people were smoking. And it really affected me. If we went to go wash the walls, the walls would have been yellow with nicotine, the tar, like the buildup. That's not good for us. And I already knew I had a problem with lactic acid. So over time, I was like, wow, I really am lucky that I haven't got sick. And everybody talked to us about the genetics. It's genetically, you might be getting a genetically dispositioned. And I really don't believe that. I believe it's the epigenetics. It's our society. It's our environment. These are the things that change our cells intercellularly. So here I'm out on the ice all the time. The only scares that you have on the ice are due to injury of hitting your head on the ground, blade damage to the body, or ammonia. Some kind of injury, or you have to watch out for ammonia, because if that's where the rinks are compressed, right, with ammonia to make the ice cold. So you're pretty much in a safe, consistent, nice, clean environment all the time. The air is scrubbed. You have really bad water coming out of the faucets in the rinks, but what can you do? That's city water. But everything I was doing, I was staying healthy, but everybody else in my family, three of the six of my family were getting sick. There was something wrong with this. So by the time my dad I was 21 and my dad passed away, he was 72 or 76 at the time, sorry. And it made me start to think, what is it that I was doing wrong? Or what is it that they were doing wrong? So I moved to Florida at that time with a coach that was down in Florida that had moved from Canada. And I wanted to be with him because he was phenomenal in every which way. And we still lived a very clean life. We didn't have chemicals in our house. We may have had Lysol wipes and that kind of stuff at that time, but we didn't really realize that we should be using that because that's what we were marketed to. But in my family, we had bleach, Mr. Clean. We had these other chemicals that were being used to clean our countertops. To clean the office space. And it was really ironic because my mom and my pop got sick at the same time. Two different diseases, but was it the same catalyst that started it? I don't know. I didn't get it, but my brother did. And they all lived at home. So I'm not putting blame to any one thing because some of the things that are out there, it's necessary. But when I introduced Kangen water to us and our family and to my mom, who was the eternal skeptic like my wife originally, it took my mom 2 years to drink from the K8. That was a long time. But she watched my diabetic cat go from 17 to, 18 to 22 over 4 years, from being on diabetic medication to no medication. And she only passed away because she fell asleep she passed away in her sleep. That's a pretty old cat. So my mom has actually had increases in her health because of the Kangen water, but even in her heart, she's going to be 80 this coming year, and even her numbers in her heart have been getting better. For the hardness of her heart has been softening instead of hardening more. And even her doctor is like showing her, like, Shirley, what are you doing? And all she's doing really now is drinking Kangen water. My mom got pneumonia 3.5 weeks ago. She was really sick. All I did was I gave her the charge. And it's thank goodness for these doctors that actually done the research, not just the nutritional doctors, but Dr. Filtzer. And it's like these little plugins, these little seeds that have been planted through time. I actually gave my mom citrus with 11.5 to get her body going, to give her the extra oomph it needed. Because people don't really realize this ORP. Everybody looks at alkaline water, and I'm going to go off on a little side tangent here, because the history of electrolyzed reduced water, or the story of electrolysis was actually invented in the 1800s. People don't really realize that. It was a doctor named Dr. Anthony Carlisle, who was a medical surgeon in London at the time, that knew the water of Lourdes, France. He knew the properties of hydrogen had antioxidant properties to it. But they didn't have that in London. They didn't have that anywhere in England that I know of, but they had it in France. They knew it, and people were staying healthy. So he invented it way back then. The Russians started using the technology during the 50s and 60s race, like for their cosmonauts. And then Mr. Oshiro, he literally discovered this opportunity, and he took it back to Japan, to Okinawa, and literally the Japanese perfected the system. And a lot of people also don't realize that the pH of the water is coincidence. So you can have lots of hydrogen in a water, and if you don't split the water into acid and alkaline, the pH won't change, but you'll have hydrogen in the water. But the way it's going through the electrodes, the cathodes, through the plates, it splits the water to be alkaline and acidic, which is fine. And it's great. It's just a really good byproduct to be alkaline. And that's what our body needs. So as I started researching all this information and getting into that, I was like getting more excited, because I started seeing health benefits for my family that I had no idea that it was going to affect. So I'm keeping my mom around a little bit longer. And I'm the kind of guy of like, we're all going to die, but I want to die on a good note. I don't want to die because I faded away. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some great stuff to hear. And it's really par for the course. I've learned that, our body, I just mentioned a couple minutes ago that our body is a machine.
Yep.
And it runs on 120 millivolts of electricity and hydrogen, but it also needs hydration and alkalinity. And it gets that alkalinity by default from the electricity, from the splitting of the molecule. And it's way different than an alkaline water. People are always calling this alkaline water, and it drives me nuts. It's like these right here. These different water bags. This one right here calls it alkaline water.
Yeah.
And that drives me nuts, because It's not alkaline water, it's alkalized water. Alkalized water is alkalized. And the difference between alkaline and alkalized is simply a matter of chemicals versus electricity. Kangen water is created through electricity, where the stuff that you can buy in those bottles at the grocery store is created through chemicals. And like Dr. Michael has always talked about, that your body can't use those chemicals And so those chemicals actually get stolen from your body. If you
they
take
really do.
a tablespoon of sodium bicarbonate, put it into your water to alkaline your water, what that does is it causes your body to literally steal that same corresponding amount of sodium bicarbonate. It goes and steals that from your bones. So you're trading heartburn for osteoporosis. Hey, what a great trade-off, you know? I mean, come on. And so that's one of the really cool things about what we have, and what people don't all, you know, it's part of our problem of trying to help people understand the difference between the two. And obviously you have something that you want to add in that regard. So
I really do. I really do, because this is kind of the funny thing is, as people hopefully will understand, I'm a figure skater, so I wear a lot of spandex. Boom. So and I have sparkles on my shoulders everywhere. And here's one of the things: when you're under the spotlight, and I was drinking alkaline water, like from the store, I was buying the best alkaline water at the top shelf. Here's the problem: as I didn't realize that this part was happening, I was actually sweating out the minerals, and they were getting in my costumes and staining the costumes. You have to understand, some of those costumes are like $1,500 just for me. Like, so they're staining with salt stains in the actual costume. And I'm like, this is disgusting. So you lift your arm and you see a whole white spot, or down the crack of my butt. It's like all these things you as a normal guy would never think of. But in the spotlight, let me tell you, they shine real bright. And it just sucks. As soon as I started drinking Kangen water, though, electrolyzed reduced water, it disappeared within days. And I was like, holy smokes, it's just totally different. We actually wash our clothes with the alkalized water now, like with ERW 11.5. We don't even have soaps. We use essential oil and the 1 liter of 11.5, which thus changes the whole entire washing load into a detergent. And people don't get that. But that's because we were never marketed it. It's not our fault as humans. We just don't know what we don't know. And if we do have this voice to help other people understand, like, you don't need anything else. Just add a little bit of juice to that, like a little something to that, make it smell pretty. You're good. So we with you saying that, it's really important. But here's one other part of the history from what I understand from people from Japan. The reason that they say alkaline water in Japanese is because there's no translation to alkalized. There's no actual translation for it. So that's why they always say alkaline water. But in America, in Canada, in all the English-speaking place, we really need to use the word alkalized, because that's the part that doctors, I actually know doctors that get really bothered with me that I'm drinking alkaline water. And I'm like, oh no, I'm drinking alkalized water. They're like, there's no difference. I'm like, actually, I hate to tell you, but there is. There's a huge difference, and I'm sorry you don't know, but if you don't mind me telling you, this one's done with electricity, like it was done in the 1800s. And I'm telling you, the French, they drink alkalized water because the water's going across the rocks underneath the earth. It's doing its thing, and it's coming out to be a healthier water enriched with hydrogen. They're like, yeah. But now there's doctors that we know that we're friends with that are actually drinking the water full time. They're like, you weren't lying. And I'm like, no, I wasn't. Like I said, I just got to the point where I stopped saying people's names and drop bombing, like planting the seeds that these people are doing it, because people really need to find the faith in themselves. Like, are they willing? Are they willing to take? Look how young you look, drinking the water. Did you start looking better when you started drinking the water? Yeah. I'm still ugly. I know that, but these are the things, like, we start to learn. And people around us in our actual area are starting to understand that the alkalized water, that it helps them. We have one lady that is an alcoholic that drinks it religiously now, and it's cleansed her brain. People don't really realize that it's the sugars that they're really addicted to in alcoholism. Not just the feeling, but it's the sugars. Cleanses the brain, you have a chance at possibly getting better. Not diagnosing it, but I'm saying we just seen this happening, like, it's really big. It's huge. It's bigger than what we thought. It's bigger than what I ever thought.
Amen. Yeah, it's a lot like what Sam Tran always says. It's our bodies are the healer.
Yes.
And if we will simply give our body what it needs, because ultimately water is 75+% of the equation, and everything else, food, exercise, environment, that kind of thing, that's the other 25%. And so the 75% that is water, like
it's true.
Like Dr. Oz says, when you take a person that gets cremated and their ashes are in that little urn, what's in that urn is the part of their body that wasn't water.
Yep.
All the rest of their body is water. That's why all you got is this little bit of powder that's in this urn. That's what it comes down to. And then yesterday, listening to on the show yesterday, we did a video of Dr. Tim Crow, the veterinarian, firefighter veterinarian.
Yep.
He's talking about the fact that, our body is 75% water, but all of the reactions that take place within our bodies that happen within the cells and all that kind of stuff, it's 99% water. You got to have water in there for the processes to take place. And so when you're taking this water, which actually is electric, and anybody that's one of the things I love the most is my little ORP meter, so I can show people the electricity from one side of the spectrum to the other, because you can punch out the 11.5 water and the 2.5 water, and then you stick your ORP meter into those things, going from one side of the spectrum to the other. And on this side, you've got electric water. On this side, you've got dead water that is electrolyzed in a different way, but you have a massive positive ORP versus a massive negative ORP.
Yep.
The body needs that negative charge. And so that's something that has been so cool to learn over the last 2.5 years, because I've been involved with this now for 2.5 years as well. And it's been an amazing, life-changing journey for me. And for, there's nothing more rewarding in this world than having somebody call you up crying, saying thank you for
It's very true.
my life.
Can I just tell you a story that's really important to me? Like, I really shouldn't tell you, but I'm going to share this part with you. There's a person in our life, breast cancer, stage 4. She found out that she had breast cancer, never told anybody. She finally told her family members that she had breast cancer and she was having to go in for an operation. So she's really, really well built, and this is the most beautiful part of it, is like, as the molecular hydrogen and the water finds its own path. She went through conventional, she had a lumpectomy, and she had a successful time. But she had been pounding down she'd followed things that had been said on the internet and protocols that had been released on the internet by other breast cancer survivors. And she said to me, she's like, "Can I just borrow one of your machines while you're away?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." Never knew what was going on. We get to January, February, end of January, February of this year. So she got the machine from me and borrowed it while I went on tour as of the end of October last year. Mm-hmm. But she drank so much water, did the cleaning her fruits and vegetables, exercising, did everything, took it full on 1,000%. She had this test done, and I can't wait till she actually publicly displays this whole story of her own. But the doctor just looks at her and she goes, 3%. Tears start coming down her eyes. She's like, 3%. And she goes, 3% of ever getting cancer again from this test. And I was just like, all she did was these kind of things. Now that's her story. There's other stories very much like it, but it's like, these are spiritual moments that I'm just like you just said, that they're crying on the phone. Well, I was crying with a big crocodile tears coming down my face. I'm like, yeah, because my goal is to help people just to have something to battle with alongside of the conventional things that exist. However they do it, whatever they do in their path, it's their story. And that's why I really enjoy working alongside and following the path of Bob Wright, because he is so on the money with things that he said. My dad was a doctor, and I'm so glad I'm not a doctor, because I can actually just follow what my gut tells me. And you drinking this water, me drinking this water, the other people on this live drinking this water, it's so important because they get to write their own story with empowerment. That's the most important part. Fight the acidity. And one last little tidbit. I'm building an actual sheet that I'm going to share online with people that actually tells, because people don't understand. We're always told, be positive, be positive, be positive. But actually, our body needs to be negative. So I'm actually building a chart that actually shows each organ's, it's in Excel right now, but it's each organ, what is their measurement of where they should be. So because when we're in our mother's amniotic fluid, it's in an alkaline fluid. We're getting energy from our family, like from our mother. Our digestive system is set up by our mother's mitochondria, like all these things, and people just don't know that. And it's really important because people just need to know in easy terms.
Yes, amen. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I hope you'll share that out with the family when
I will.
It's completed, because quite frankly, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are interested in data. They want the technicalities of it. And then there's also those people out there that are like me that really don't give a rat about the data too much. And I'm more interested in the stories because, you know, cancer is my biggest pet peeve in this whole wide world. Back in 1993, I read a book that changed the course of my life. And it set me onto a proactive and preventional course towards my health. And that book was called World Without Cancer, written by a guy named G. Edward Griffin. And that book, it changed everything about my thought processes, about doctors, about health, about drugs, about all that kind of stuff. And something you'll find really interesting about that book, I know this was a huge thing for me when I found this out, because what that book is about it's about vitamin B17, which is found very plentifully in nature. And everybody is scared away from it because it has cyanide in it and benzaldehyde, which are both poisonous. Everybody knows that cyanide is poisonous. They don't even know that benzaldehyde is about 10 times more poisonous than cyanide is, and that the two of them have a synergistic effect that makes them about 100 times more poisonous together than either of them separately. But your healthy cells of your body actually use that cyanide and then that benzaldehyde as a nutrient and a natural analgesic. But that's what the story was about, and where the roots of that book come from is from the exact same place on this planet that the roots of Enagic and Kangen water come from, which is the land of Hunza. In Hunza, the people there live to be on average about 120 years old. They don't die of sickness. They don't get cancer as long as they stay in Hunza and eat their traditional diet that they have. But they drink electrolyzed reduced water that comes off the glacier there. And then they also, their wealth is determined by how many apricot trees they have.
Yep, that's true.
And so when I found out that the roots of Enagic were the same, it was the Russian scientists that went to Hunza and they studied them along with some Japanese scientists. And the Japanese just basically grabbed that thing like a dog with a bone and ran with it, baby. Thank God they did, right?
It's true.
And, you know, and so when I found out that the roots of this were right in the same spot as the book that changed my life, I was immediately more interested and more intrigued by all of that. And so it's, you know, like I say, cancer is my biggest pet peeve in this whole wide world because it's truly a manufactured disease that shouldn't even exist at all. And, you know, at the end of that book, World Without Cancer, he says, you now have the ability to live in a world without cancer. And the only reason that you have this ability is because someone out there somewhere was gracious enough to bring this information to your attention. Can you do any less for others? And for me, that hit me like a brick. I
Yeah.
could, and I literally do the craziest thing. I love to tell people this story too, because when you eat an apple, you should always eat the core first. I chomp right through the middle of an apple and I eat the core first, and then I chase it with the flesh of the apple. But that's exactly the opposite of what most people do. And one day and I do this all the time. I've been doing this for 26 years, and I do it every time I get an opportunity. I'll see a stranger. I was at the taco joint for Taco Wednesday, and I had already ordered, and I was sitting there waiting for my order, and this lady comes walking in the door, and she's eating an apple. And I see her chomping on this apple, and I sit there and watch her eat it, and she's eating all the way around it like everybody does. And she gets down to the core, and she starts looking around for a garbage can. And I walk over to her, and I say, "Excuse me, ma'am, are you gonna eat that?" And she's like, "No." I said, "Well, can I have it?" And she's like, hands it to me, and I grab it and go, "Oh." I chomp that baby down, and she's like, "Ah, what the heck?" She really thinks I'm crazy at this point. But the point is, and the reason I do that is because it gave me the opportunity to share the knowledge of the book with her.
Yeah.
You do no less for others. And for me, it's exactly the same way when it comes to Kangen water. My job is to open the door and show people this opportunity, this amazing gift that was given to us. And it's their job to decide whether they want to walk through the door or not. We always say we could lead a horse to water, but we can't make him drink. But we can also sprinkle a bunch of salt in his hay, make him thirsty. And so that's what I do, is run around sprinkling salt in everybody's hay and try to get them to get thirsty and want some information, want to know, want to learn. And for those, I feel just blessed in my heart every time I share this water or share the knowledge of this water. Every time I give away one of my business cards, I give away this business card to somebody, and I hand it to them, and I say, "I'm giving you right here the biggest and most important gift that anybody has ever given you in your life. What you're going to do with it is up to you. You're going to be hearing about this, and I hope you remember who told you about it. But this is an incredible gift. Here you go." And I just leave it at that. And
When you say that,
it's up to them, And how do you feel in regards to that kind of thing? What do you do when it comes to, these are just ways that I utilize to be able to share Kangen water and share the story of World Without Cancer. And now I'm sharing Rob Wright's book.
It's a great book. Wait till you read version 4.
What a concept!
Version
Killing cancer,
4
not people. Hey,
is
what
insane good. So version 4 is just being launched this week in Canada, and it has the testimonials of the people of where are they now. It is just brilliant. And the updates that are in there, it talks about turmeric. It talks about what to do. I've read version 2, 3, and now version 4. Brilliant. These updates, Bob is so in it. He wants people to have just the information. And I believe it is the holy grail of books to fight disease. The hook line of Killing Cancer, Not People is brilliant because it grabs people. But he's in it to beat everything. Just giving the people the possibility. It's so important for people to understand that. The greatest part is that he's telling you a truth that is factual. And the thing is, he's not a doctor. I actually have friends that are doctors and nurse practitioners that just think I'm freaking crazy. And they're the ones that are not feeling good. And here we are living this lifestyle, 47 years old, still performing, doing our thing, not a sign of disease in my body because of what we do and how we live. We use special neurotech on our body. We use the water. We use special supplements. We have the best of the best, allowing us to function for a longer time. We are into this for beating the age gap, beating acidity, and allowing our body to function normally, because people don't really realize if you have the best water, then your brain can have ability to function better. If you have the best neurotech, it'll allow your body to communicate better. You have the best nutrition, it'll be able to nourish it better. Have the best air, it'll be able to allow it to breathe better. Then you add the other things. Take the crap away. Get rid of the toxic people, the toxic clothing, the toxic chemicals, the toxins of every which way, and go back to where our forefathers really were.
Yes.
They didn't get sick the same way as what we are now. People don't really understand that sugar is killing us as a society. Worldwide, it's an epidemic. Sugar is, 500 times more addictive than cocaine.
Yeah.
And it's legal. I mean, like, just all these things that I'm watching happen, go on. Chlorine and fluoride is everywhere. Just tell you a quick story. Jodine and I used to entertain on cruise ships with hundreds of people over 11 years. And we actually had to use these chemicals on board. And when Norwalk virus came out to ships, they used to add extra chlorine to the system to help us to kill and combat the body. Still to this day, I have chlorine burns on my forearm, my eyebrows and whatnot, and they flake up because whenever chlorine is introduced to my body, it gets hurt. We had to do these things called Code Red. And Code Red was one of the toughest things that we had to do. And they gave us chemicals to clean the ship with that killed bacteria and viruses when the Norwalk virus was huge. But it was killing us internally in the lungs, breaking down our bacteria. And whenever we would put our food onto the countertops, right? So say if we were in the mess hall, the whole entire ship has been cleaned. And listen, it was not fun, but we made teamwork out of it. Like when you're living on a cruise ship, you work as a family. So they give us these chemicals and we're cleaning our countertops and everything's being cleaned with it. It literally is killing everything, good and bad bacteria. And here we are. You end up putting your food, it slipped onto the counter. And then all of a sudden you put your sandwich back together or whatever it was that was on the counter, and now you're ingesting that chemical. Right now, I have so many friends from ships that are so ill because of environment. And one of the things that we combated was making sure that we were really healthy about the environment, but we didn't really realize that we were actually hurting crew members for long term. So we almost lost a person a few months ago to heart disease. And it was like a combination of multiple things. So when your food is actually cleaned in ship water, it's chlorinated water. So the people don't really understand that the chlorine is absorbed right into the meat of the spinach or the lettuce or the carrots or the tomatoes when they're washing it. They don't see it, so it can't be possibly happening. And I'm sitting there going, holy. One of the things that drove me off of ships was actually poor nutrition. I love being out to sea, but we ended up not eating so much on ships, and we'd bring food on board with us all the time so we could eat in our room. And sometimes it was really good food, and sometimes it was really crappy food. The Russians knew exactly what they were doing because they knew their nutrients wasn't as good when it was in the mess as what it would be in their own room, and that's pretty scary. So we learned over the years how to nourish ourselves and make sure we ate good food off in the ports. And friends that actually have friends that are in ships, they'll see that there's some people that got really sick and they're really sick now. And I feel sad for it, but I would never change my life for it. So yeah, chlorine's a killer. Fluoride's a killer.
Yeah.
And people don't really realize that putting fluoride in the water system, but to put it in the marshlands or anywhere else, it's a treasonous act in the United States. It's treason. So why are we doing it to the people?
Yeah, well, when I refer to these people and this whole system and everything as criminal, I'm not joking, because all one has to do is read the book World Without Cancer to find out just how criminal it all is. You know, you were just talking about sugar. Our main sugar in this country used to be sorghum cane.
You got it.
And that systematically got switched over to sugar and beet cane. And, you know, sorghum cane is loaded with vitamin B17, which is a crucial mineral or crucial vitamin that your body needs. And the vitamin Bible doesn't even list it as a vitamin. But, you know, they replaced
Only in this
that.
country. If you go to Germany, it does.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not surprised by that. You know, we have everything so backwards here in this country. It's just crazy.
In England, anywhere that the Commonwealth has been, from my understanding, and I can't say this for sure, but anywhere in the 70 countries that I've been to, when you're looking for those kind of things, if you go to Germany or other countries that are not Commonwealth, B17 is available in the pharmacy.
Yeah. Well, it's available here too, but it's just
Illegally.
it's not as readily available as it used to be. You know, I always tell people the only reason cancer exists is because of the United States government. If it wasn't for the U.S. government, it wouldn't even exist at all. And it's proven in the book. You know, the way because the two things they did, they changed from sorghum cane to sugar and beet cane. So that gave us something that was really healthy, gave us something that is really, really poisonous to our bodies. And then on the grain side, our main grain used to be millet.
Yep.
And now our main grain is wheat. Millet's loaded with B17. Wheat doesn't have any in it. And so, you know, there's just those two things right there, not including all the other stuff.
Yeah,
Those two things right there had a massive impact on the American diet and cancer spreading like wildfire, like it has over the last 60 years. And it's all happened by design, not by accident. This is all stuff. And that's the thing about the book. It's separated into two parts. The first part is called The Science of Cancer, where it talks about what's called the trophoblastic theory of cancer, which is that it's part of your body's natural healing mechanism. And then the second part of the book is called The Politics of Cancer. And that's the part where it gets brutal. That's the part that, you know, has you shaking your fist and banging your head because you're so pissed off at what's going on and how deliberate this all is. You know, they went into all the almond growers because the most potent source in all of nature for this vitamin is the bitter almond.
Mm-hmm.
And the U.S. Food and Drug Administration literally took armed guards back in the 70s, dressed up like Gestapo units, to go into the almond growers. They went to all the major almond growers in America, and they went into their almond fields, into their orchards, and they tested their trees. And if the tree had bitter almonds, they made them uproot it at the point of a gun. Uproot it now. And
1971 that started.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff is just all information that's part of what we're trying to do, because people can't do anything about this stuff if they don't know about it, right? You know, we don't know what we don't know, right?
That's exactly it.
And so that's what one of our big things that we're trying to do, not only here with the Kong family, but also, you know, with the entire family in all of this, is to just help people understand, because that's the way I look at it, buddy, is I'm doing my job by letting people know. And I can feel good with myself. And because the hardest part about this business for me, buddy, has been the fact that it is really difficult to see people suffering when you know that you have something that will help them and they won't look. It's very difficult. And I know Sam Tran was instrumental in helping me get over that little hump, because, you know, he said something to me that hit me like a brick. He said, I can't care more for someone else's health than they do. You know, and that really helped me a lot, because I realized that's right. You know, my brothers, my sisters, my family, who all think I'm nuts, they won't touch this stuff with the 10-foot pole.
I'm there with you. I'm there with you.
It hurts a lot, but once again,
so this is kind of where I got. Sorry, I was going to say, this is where I got to the point where I was like, okay, so I ended up, give you an idea what I ended up doing. I was handing out water to everybody, sharing it, everybody with a heartbeat. And I was like, I need to do that. And because it was my mission. And it's still my mission today. But here's the thing. We're 2 years deep into this. There's some people like Tamia, that's 13 years deep. If we follow a path of like what they've done, Sam Tran as well, other people that have been in it for longer than us, the thing is that they learned a few key critical things. Plant the seed, walk away. If it grows, it's natural. Don't press them, but just check in. And here's what I ended up doing. I got myself to the point where I had 5,000 followers on Facebook. I ended up emptying down to 1,700 of all the people that didn't interact with me. Do you know how much shit I got for that from people? We're not friends anymore. What are you doing? Like, why? I'm like, well, you don't really resonate or believe what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm totally cool with that. I was getting in battles online with people that I worked on cruise ships with. I'm like, you guys just don't understand, nor do you want to understand. But if you do down the road by somebody else that I've helped or somebody else that they've helped, and you're still friends with them, go for it. It's not about me getting your money. A lot of people have been so scammed throughout the years. I have been approached so many times from different companies, different MLMs, different direct sales marketing companies, different corporations to use their products. And I've said no. It was the no because I don't want to use that energy. But when I realized that in magic and some of the other things that I use in this world make change very quickly, you're never going to get back to the point where you were when you were born. But you have a chance to have vitality back. You have a chance to upgrade now. And you're going to not look for a Band-Aid like a lot of other solutions were. You're actually giving them a chance to a whole complete change, which people really want. So when your energy goes into the heart and soul of why you're doing it, your story is why people are resonating to you, why you got to your position now. That's why people got in with me, because they actually trusted me. I've been patiently waiting for them to come alive and use the product a long time. But it's our duty in our hearts and our souls to just share it with people. Just plant the seed. Don't expect anything. Even though in your brain you're going, you're such an idiot. Why are you not listening to me? I'm telling you the truth. But that's because you're a leader. And this is one of the things I had to realize is that you are a leader. You're the one making this actual live happen. You're the one getting out there, trying to reach out to people. If it's 5, 50, 5,000, it's how we get connected with the people. When you decide that you're going to leave toxicity of life, the people will find you that follow you. And it's natural. And you're living proof that it works. And that's what God sent you to do. That's what your source energy sent you to do. And that's what motivates you to get out of bed every day. See, there's a difference. You are pulled out of bed, not pushed out of bed. I am pulled out of bed. I'm not pushed out of bed. Do you know how many billions of people are pushed out of bed that they have to get up because they hate their lives? Do you realize that 2 years down the road, not just 2 days down the road, how many more thousands of lives you yourself will have touched? Just because maybe this live, maybe it's just because of you reaching out to a whole crowd of people. Maybe it's the gentlemen that are down below that are watching this, that are from your family. That movement together is social proof. And that's what a lot of the people that say no are waiting for, is social proof. They're not saying no, they just don't understand.
Yeah.
But when the people have faith in your being, they have faith in you, they really go for it. And that's what I just want you to know. So your frustration is my frustration, because you're like, I'm telling you the freaking truth. Just listen, open your mind. But the world is so conditioned to follow and just conform to the norm. They're not used to leading, and they should be. And it's not about making money up front. It's about giving people a chance at health first. You're rewarded for doing the right thing. And that's what people don't know. So there's this story about the strawberry. So you have a strawberry farmer. He sells a pallet. This is like an epiphany moment that I had about business. Now, I'm a figure skater. I could put you a beautiful show together, no problem, right? Like I could start from scratch, get your cast, costumes, lighting, whatever, choreography, put the right team together, and we make it for you for X amount of dollars. And most people will go, oh, I'm going to go to a Christmas show. I'm going to go watch it. And this is what we do every year. When we go to a business like this, you have a vehicle that's already been built that you actually have the ability to share with the world. And but share water. People don't get that. It can't be that simple. It can be a one-man show or 100-man show. And you can do this, and you're creating that atmosphere right now, and I applaud you for that. So don't worry, there's actually answers to your need. This man is named, there's actually, I'll go to YouTube, it's London Real, and then in that, this man's name is Oren Clef, K-L-A-F, K-L-E-F. London Real, Oren Clef. Go watch him. He'll break down the reptilian brain to let you into other people. He's the best at it.
Can you spell that?
Orenklef.
Kref. Warren Kreff. You got that, kids? Had to have him spell it for you because I couldn't understand it. So,
so I actually sit and actually watch other podcasts and other things to motivate me to help get the message that's actually in my brain out. And the message is like the people will follow, they will watch you. They're too scared to do it only because they don't understand. When they understand and they see the other people as social proof. So when you have 90 people on here one day, which you are going to have because your spirit says it will, that's your social proof. And then you as a collective are helping the other people do it. See, I literally work around the world and share the water around the world from the traveling K8 with me. We have 3 K8s, 2 that stay stationary and 1 that's on the road with us all the time. And all we do is we share the water with our cast members, share the water. Think half of those cast members believe at it at first? No. They think it's a big farce. But then they look at Jodine and I, and they're 23, and we're 47 still doing it. And the majority of our colleagues that we grew up with, they're all out of the business. And they're just like, how do they do that? Because we figured out how to slow down aging. We figured out how to make our bodies more efficient. We figured out how to live better. We figured out how to make money. We figured out how to do it honestly. And people, they just don't get that yet. So that's your mission. That's my mission. That's all of our mission, just to share. And I learned that from Tamia herself, because it's just like, if you're going to learn from anyone, Tamia Balson, just go listen to her because she's freaking awesome. So, yeah, the best of the best.
yeah, brother, I love it because, it's like if my buddy Sean were here, my partner in crime, he would say that we have a company here that not only do we not need to apologize for, but something we can be absolutely proud of in every aspect of our lives, in everything that we do. It's so interesting because I had my last time clock punching job when I was like 19 years old, and now I'm 53 years young, and I've found my thing. And it's such an incredible feeling to know that you have finally found what you're looking for and what you've been looking for, because I'm an entrepreneur. I always have been. I hate punching time clocks. I've always hated working for other people. I want to work for me.
Exactly.
Legacy for me that I can pass on to somebody and that kind of thing. And this is something that we can truly be proud of and have tremendous confidence in. And every single day I get up going, whose life do I get to change today, baby? HooDeeHoooo! I'm excited every day when I get up because I know that I get to go change somebody's life today, one way or another.
That's exciting.
And yeah, it truly is exciting. And you know, we've been going here for about an hour and 15 minutes. So I've
That's
got,
it?
I know, isn't it amazing how fast it goes by? You know, time flies when you're having fun. But I wanted to give Roger and Patrick and also Paul a quick opportunity, just in case they have any questions or anything that they'd like to ask you. So Roger,
Sure.
Paul, Patrick, you guys have anything that you'd like to ask Sean?
Hi, this is Patrick. How are you?
Hey, salut, ça va?
Ça va et toi, buddy?
Hey, really good. Fire away. my friend.
Listen, I'm all brand new in all this, and I'm learning all this right now. And you guys are great storyteller. Just let me tell you something. I've been watching and listening to this for like over an hour, and
Oh, cool.
time flies. I had so many questions, which are all being answered this morning, which is great. I'm going myself through difficult situation at the moment, and Jodine has been talking to me about this water for a little while now, and we're supposed actually to be talking today about it. And it's
cool.
Listening to you guys this morning is really, I think, a living proof of benefits and life-changing experience, which it's a great sign of hope for me this morning. Great. Medical situation in which is difficult. I cannot say that it's easy. It's difficult. It was a life-changing in a negative side. But this morning giving me hope to get through this, and to others to maybe benefit of it as well. My family, that some of them are sick themselves. So no, it's thank you for having giving us the chance to listening to this morning.
Hey, Patrick, you're an old friend of mine, and I hope for you all the best.
Thank you.
There's the gift coming in the mail to you, the neurotech, and that'll be the first layer to start with, okay?
Love it.
I'm not joking you. Within 7 seconds, the very first part of what we use is going to start to help you in multiple ways. I can't tell you what it's going to do. It's going to find its own path as soon as you put them on.
We all have our own stories, and I'll be happy to share it with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you get what I mean about Code Red and everything, right? So there's a lot of stuff that your body...
Why are you guys waiting to go to Royal Caribbean and talk about this?
I have.
Yeah.
They're close-minded still. There's other places that I'm going to go to eventually, and the fact is,
for them on a business side, it's money saving big time. Like when I heard you talking about it, I never realized how negative impact it has on all of us and the clients as well. Let's be honest, and that's millions of people. I think that needs to really be driven into their mind and like, listen, this for the product, cleaning clay product, health of everybody. It's the snowball effects that can be a lot of snowmen here. And I think it's a great opportunity for you guys to go and push that one.
So yeah, you'll be a part of that family too down the road. I'm not joking you, because what is really necessary to happen is the fact that there needs to be a social clout to the people that actually helped grow that company, like you, myself, in different ways. And yeah, it's an avenue for down the road. But the most important part is to get you feeling better. It's all that matters. Every little bit of investment of this part, you're going to have your own journey to it. So like for me, it was my body, like my body in the sense of my lung being able to breathe properly again. My ability, you saw me perform for years.
Jeez, you are, I can't even believe that you're 47 years old, honestly.
Yeah, it's the water.
But no, I'm 38 years old. I've toured the world 5 times.
Yep.
I've lived the 2 greatest love of my life, and I'm young. Diagnosed with something quite serious, and I'm stubborn. The marathon, I'll be running it. Never did so. I will, just to prove them wrong. And if that water can help me get through this, which this morning was, honestly, I'll end up on this, but it was a really big hope for me. Thank you.
I love you, man. I hope we're gonna get you it. Our friend Lynn's gonna get it to you. The bottles are actually on the way. They're actually to share with you. So we'll get you all set up.
All about it. I'll leave on this one because I'm getting emotional.
No, please be emotional, because it's gonna take leaders like yourself that actually help me help our friends. It's like what the big guy upstairs is doing, like John. Like John started, and he didn't believe in the water at first. And do you know how many people from Ship Life that I've talked to about this, and they're like, "You're an effing idiot." Like,
last night I've sent a voice message to Jodine, and I say, where can I read all, like I'm reading on the website and everything, where can I get all the info? I'm a bit skeptical, and last night I was saying it, and no, this morning was, it's great. It's hope.
yeah, and buddy, I can actually tell you that there's the things that I've seen. You're a member of the 9.5 Life family, become a member of the Kong family now. The thing is that why I don't share testimonials online is to keep it so that the company stays safe.
Yeah.
It is so powerful, but people don't understand the antioxidants that are in one glass of Kangen water, 1 8-ounce glass of Kangen water. There's more antioxidants in that than known stars in the universe.
Ooh.
Now, 93% of those, 93% on average in a human being or in an animal will absorb 93% of those antioxidants. For you to get the amount of antioxidants, you would have to eat for approximately 5 days consistently of, I think it was 5 pounds of blueberries at once. You'll only get 2% of the antioxidants in those blueberries through the digestive system. You have to eat pounds and pounds of broccoli. So this is why the nutrition that we use, the neurotech that we use, and the water that we use, and the air cleaners that we use are so important. So remember when we were doing Code Red together?
Yeah.
Everybody would start coughing.
That?
Remember when we would all start coughing?
Yeah, it's automatic. You spray, you cough.
Yeah, and that was because we were getting injured. If we could use 2.5 water to clean the ship, it would kill everything within seconds. Everything. Norwalk would not even exist on a cruise ship. So I'm going to go to Richard Branson, and I'm going to go to Richard Branson.
Or whoever, where they go to Olympic 2020, in which the restaurant now, it's one of the thing that you must have these machine. And it's quite amazing that for such a great organization as the Olympics, that they are focusing on that. So that's a great start for you guys.
Well, that's one of the most important things, that the Japanese government mandated it to happen. So Enagic is the only corporation in the 70 machines that are built throughout the world that actually can make 11.5 and 2.5 at medical grade. So that's why it's actually there.
Wow.
Amen.
So
hey, Patrick, I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you have a Kangen water machine now?
I don't. No, I'm absolutely virgin on that side.
Virgin.
I want to tell you something.
It's the only place.
Patrick, I want to mention something to you, because there's something about this company that, for me, I'm actually really proud of. I think I've actually sold more machines for other people than I have for myself, as far as people that have bought the machines through me. And I'm really proud of that, because that's also a big part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing here today, and why we do this. I try to do this 7 days a week. That's my ultimate goal, is to do this show 7 days a week. And the thing is I love talking to other people, because there's so many people out there who they think that the only reason that I want to share this Kangen water machine with them is because I want to make money off of them. And so when I'm talking to somebody like yourself, who, you know, when you get your Kangen water machine, you're not going to buy it from me. And so I don't have any kind of monetary reason for telling you this. I'm telling you this from the warmth of my heart, because I'm trying to do no less for others. And I'm telling you, if you've got some sort of an issue going on with your health, the number one thing that you need to do to turn that around and to give your body what it needs so it can turn that around is you need to get yourself a Kangen water machine. You need to get a hold of Sean. You need to make it happen. It's so cheap. It's, you know, I always tell people, Kong doesn't cost. Kong pays.
It pays off.
You know,
It does, actually.
From what I understood this morning, from what I gathered, it pays off a lot.
And so I would really encourage you to get a hold of Sean or get a hold of whoever it is that told you about it first, and get your machine, because it will change your life. It will change your life, not only physically, but also mentally and financially as time goes by. So you need to go do that. That's got to be plan A. You need to get yourself your Kangen water.
From what I gathered this morning, it's like it can't do wrong, and arms to like muscles is a big part of my health issue at the moment, and like that could actually stall it, or even if the neurologist and everybody says that no, what's damaged is damage. It's, I don't know. I can't wait to share the story that maybe it will have rebuilt it.
I promise you this: your body can fix it if you get it what it needs, and your body will fix its issues. It will do it. I've seen it over and over and over again throughout the years. I'm a wholehearted believer in the human body is the greatest healer that there is, and that's kind of what we are. We're a doctor that prescribes this kind of stuff. We're not doctors here, but doctors that do go this route, they are healers. They're not practicing medicine, they're practicing health.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're all about, is just helping people to help themselves. And so, you know, one last real quick thing here. Roger, is there something you wanted to say? Did you have anything you wanted to ask Sean, or something you wanted to mention about what we're talking about here today?
Oh yeah, I always have something to say.
Hey,
First of all, nice to meet you, man.
Pleasure.
And I would just say something for your haircut. They say the perfect head has no hair. No, it was a pleasure to listen to your story. It was very interesting.
Thank you. Yeah.
I would have a question about doing your laundry. You said you add a liter of 11.5 to it,
Yep.
like your normal water.
Yep. Absolutely. So in coming into our house, I've actually put pre-filters onto the water main coming in. So it's pulling out chlorine. It's pulling out everything it possibly can. I actually use the Ion Medics filter from Ion Faucet, $70, best freaking thing. I have a three stage coming in. I actually use that filter particularly because it takes all of the herbicides. It takes out 99.9% of almost everything possibly in the water. So all the way from hexavalent chromium to pharmaceuticals that's in the water. A lot of people don't really realize that when we poop or we pee, that now the company that takes care of the water system, they're recycling that water and they're not getting everything out of that. We actually have the 11.5 coming from the K8, and I take a liter of it. It will turn that water into 11.5. There's enough potency in that water to do it.
Thank you. That gives me a good
best
idea.
thing to do if I so we actually add essential oils to it, so it gives it its nice fresh smell, and it's phenomenal because the 11.5 breaks up the essential oil. So if you go online to 6A Tools, Jerry Kostica, if you go to YouTube and watch his stuff, he talks about the why 11.5 breaks up oils. So it's because it's negatively charged, and oil is negatively charged. Okay, so if it's a petrochemical, it's coming out of the earth, it's negatively charged. Hydrogen, the molecular hydrogen, with the hydroxyl ions, when they put in an oil, it breaks it apart specifically because it's negative and negative. It gets in the middle of it and emulsifies it. Same thing with when you do with your laundry. So you don't need any water or anything but the water and essential oil to give it a little bit of smell. And if you want no smell, don't put the essential oil in. It's the best thing because we sweat so much. I'm a sweater. I know you're a sweater.
I do.
And the problem is because in your foot, there's some 500,000 pores in your foot. Your feet are sweating all the time. Just take away the clothing that we have. But you're absorbing like a sponge. When the water's coming out, you're absorbing chemical in. So there's an entrance into there. So what we did is we just eliminated the whole need for it. That altogether. I even brush with 2.5 every day. I brush my teeth, and I brush my teeth with 2.5. I use beauty water also, but with a water pick. And then I brush my teeth with a non-fluoride water, or like water. Then I do what's called oil pulling, which is with coconut oil for like three minutes. So there's like a little protocol there too that I don't even use. Like, I grew up loving my Colgate. So I still love Colgate, but I hardly ever use it now. It's like once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's enough fluoride in there for me to keep my teeth clean. And my teeth have gotten healthier since I started all this process. You know how they measure your gums when you go to the dentist? It's like they have to measure. So I used to be like number 3, number 4. Now I'm back to 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. And my doctor's like, "What are you doing with your teeth? Like, how are you doing this?" I'm like, 11.5 water, 2.5 water. And I have almost no gingivitis, like no plaque buildup anymore or anything. It's a totally different beast in my mouth. Healthy mouth, healthy gut, healthy body.
Good job. Thanks, man. Thanks for the advice.
Pleasure. Yeah, brother, definitely go online and buy Dr. Peggy Parker's water protocols for the house, the kitchen, and your body. Definitely a need. You can find it online.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get her on the show sometime here soon. I've been trying to reach out to some of these doctors and get them on the show. You know, we had Robert Wright on the show a couple of weeks ago, which was absolutely fantastic. And he's actually, I just got his 4th edition ordered. It should be here any day. And I'm going to start reading it. And then he's already agreed that he's going to come on the show to discuss each and every chapter of the book. So as soon as I get the chapter read, I'm going to go, "Hey, Doc, or Robert, I got this chapter read. Let's talk," and get him on the show. And so he's a super, super guy. He's on a mission, and I love his mission. And I can't say enough about it. And you know, as far as that thing about the teeth, I got to tell you guys a little story. This is just one of the ways that Kong pays. Because number one, I haven't used laundry detergent in 2.5 years.
Yep.
I haven't spent one dime on laundry detergent. I use 11.5 water and 2.5 water and just dump it right into my machine, and it's amazing what a job it does of cleaning my clothes. I don't care about smell, so I don't put any of that kind of any oils in or anything like that. But I just use the water, and it's been wonderful. But I went down to, I've been in the fossil business for a long time, as you can see fossils on the walls behind me, and we go down once a year to sell our fossils down in Tucson, Arizona. And last year, when I got down there to the show, I woke up the first morning of the show with a splitting toothache right here. And it was just, I'm like, oh no, this is terrific. I'm going to have to go to the dentist. But I had taken my SD501 with me. And I'm like, no, hold on a second. And so I went and ran myself some 2.5 water. And what I did is I gargled every 2 hours. I didn't really gargle. What I did is I put a mouthful of water in and just went
swish it. Yeah.
Like that. And I'd do that until the water completely lost its smell and its feel. Because when you swish this stuff around in your mouth, you can feel it. And I'd sit and swish it around for about 2 minutes or so until you could feel that it kind of had gone through its ropes of what it needed to. And I did that all day long, every 2 hours. So I ended up gargling 6 times that day. And at the end of that day, that toothache was gone and it has never come back. And I didn't have to go to the dentist. That saved me a bunch of time. It saved me a bunch of money. Who knows how much it would have cost to have that tooth fixed or whatever, but I didn't have to do anything. So that was awesome. And and so that's just another of the ways that Kong pays. And so now we're down to the last couple things. I can't wait to hear your answer to this question, Sean. Somehow I have a feeling we're going to get a really cool answer to this. And this is my favorite of all the questions that I ask people. because the answers are always so different. But you've got somebody out there, Sean, that's interested. They're they're on the fence and they're not sure whether they're going to jump off that side or jump onto this side, whatever. But you've got one thing you get to say to them, just one. That's it. What is it?
It's funny that you asked that question because everybody is a different solution. My solution would be the fact of, what are you scared of? Just bringing to the person, like, what are you scared of? It's just water. There's no reason not to try. And if they take it, they take it. It's really funny because I sit there and I think to myself, now I got to the point where I was always fishing and now I'm teaching other people to fish. The thing is, like, having people break the barrier, because I can remember my very first sale, right? Like, that person just looked at me in their eyes and said, I'm in. I literally am in because I believe you. I believe your story. I saw the way you were. A lot of people see me as a person that's like super strong, like nothing ever looks like it's wrong because I was trained to look that way. Yeah, I'm always that guy that's willing to battle it out like to the end. But my message would be, never give up. Talk to them to their dead, plant seeds, and literally live the life the way you're trying to preach it. Yeah. People will believe you because of your action. And that's what we do. It's really funny because I sit there every single day and I have a list of like 37 people that are drinking water right now. That list is a lot of people drinking water. It's a lot of water bags going out. 80% of those people will buy on their time. I can't expect them to buy now. And that's really hard because I'm like, get it now. Because I can get you to help me help other people. And remember that Fabergé organic shampoo commercial when we were kids? Like, you tell 2 friends and I'll tell 2 friends and so on and so on. That's really what I live my heart by now, is because all these people are using the units and now it's my job to go and teach them the business part because their health is back together. So you, like what Patrick is going through, we don't know what's going on. Like, we can never say for sure like it's going to heal you, because it doesn't. Because when I come off the water, my lungs slowly goes back to where it used to be because it has a memory of it. So you never want to be without your water machine. And that reason why I use K8 is because I travel the world. I have one SD501 that is a loaner that I loan out to people, but that's pretty much all I do is K8s and let's go. It's the best part, is like you get to share it wherever you go in the world. And it's a global business, and it's a global reach.
Can I shimmy in, Sean, with a question on that?
Yeah, please.
With having that machine and drinking that water, and like me working in travel business, yes, I go to travel quite often. Do you bring that machine with you? What do you do?
I put it in my rolly bag and I take it on the airplane with me. I take 2 filters. So Patrick, this is one of the things that everybody gets confused about. It's a water filter. And you're like, no, it's actually not. It's an ionizer with a water filter in it. Okay. So everybody's like, why can't we just use Zero Water or Brita, right? Right. They do pretty good at filtering contaminants out, but there's no energy change. So the magical part for me with this is like, I literally get my K8, take the filter out. I have a dry filter that I put in my backpack, like in my pack with me. Mm-hmm. And I take the wet filter and I put it in my suitcase. The reason is because every time I go through the machine when it's wet, they always go red flag. There's water in it, like it's filled with water. It's just because the charcoal is wet. That's like with the contaminants, they see it and it just comes up as a black screen. Here's the cool part of it. John, can you pull up one of those water bags? So these are arriving to your house this week, Patrick. One of these guys. So this actual water bag, if you're traveling to Indonesia, thank you, John. You can actually
Where do I go to? Oh, okay, there is. Sorry, I was on the wrong tree. Can you show it again, please?
You'll be able to take this water bag on with you with a piece of paper that we have access to, and you can take the water right through security, and you get to travel on the airplane with medical grade water. We do it all the time. It's
And
the
then-
coolest part. I'm sorry?
And then make jealous.
Literally, we get looked at, well, he's got water. Why are we not allowed to take our water through? I'm like, you don't have this piece of paper. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's medical grade water. So when we were traveling to Japan this year, there's this man, Mr. Sobe. He's kind of taken Jodine and I under his wing, and we're very blessed. He's a trainer for magic, and he started explaining to us about a lot of things that we learned over the last year with him. Anyway, it's really funny because he gets so excited when he sees the pictures of us traveling with our water, no matter whom it is, because they work so hard to get it passed legally to travel with it all over the world. And so all the government agencies, like the US government, sees this water as medical grade water in FAA, but you're not allowed to use it as medical grade water in so many other ways of saying it in FDA.
Mm-hmm.
So there's contradictions with each other, right? But it's a truly specific water that will make your body feel energized. It will give your body a chance to start to heal itself. And just going to reiterate something that John said, the water is going to find its own path inside of you. So the neurotech that I sent you the other day with Jodine, that's going to open up your body, your channels within. Take a little bit more time, but it'll find its own path to where your body needs it. So you'll be your own storyteller. Just want to make sure you know that.
Thank you.
So will you be back to where you were like 10 years ago when I last saw you? I can't promise you that, but I will promise you that there will be a specific upgrade to your body in some way. Could be in your memory, could be in the thought, could be in sensation of your body, could be the way you breathe, the way your muscles move. It'll find its own path. And over time, as you drink more and more of the water, wear the neurotech, the more and more you wear it, it's scientifically proven, just the neurotech alone, over 8 months of wearing it, your body will start to reprogram itself.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I literally was just with the doctors on the weekend with that. So, and I was with Bob Wright on Sunday, having dinner with him, speaking with him on Sunday. So it's just they work so side by side with each other.
That is awesome stuff. So now I've got one last thing, that this is also a big, important part of this show and why I do it. Because I want people to resonate with each other. I don't know whose story is going to get who. And I've actually had people come over and get water from me and end up buying their machine from somebody else, because they got mad at my sponsor. Whatever. When they bought the water from somebody else, I said, congratulations. I'm so happy for you that you got your machine. That's awesome. If you ever need any help, I'm here. I'm always here. Don't hesitate to call. You know my number. Whatever, I'm here to help. Because my main thing is I want people to get this water. I think that it will, the people that are going to want to buy their machine from me, those people are going to be there. There's 7 billion people on this planet. We've got plenty of people to sell water machines to, and so I'm here because I want to resonate people, and I don't know I might have been working on somebody for the last 2 years, and they might see you, Sean, and go, hey, you know what? I want to get my machine from that dude. And if that's the case, fantastic. I want them to get their machine from you. And I want them to, if they say, wow, this guy's awesome, I want to follow him, I want to learn from him, I want to work with him, whatever, that's great. That's what I want. But if they don't know how to get a hold of you, if they don't know where you are, if they don't know what you're doing, they can't really get a hold of you, can they? And so I want to give you this opportunity now to let people know who you are, where you are, how they can get a hold of you. But I also want to give a little caveat to everybody out there. If you're going to send Sean Rice a Facebook friend request, please do him the what's the word, the reasonable thing to do. That, you know, for some reason I'm losing the word that I wanted, that I always bring up in this, but
Common courtesy.
yeah, be courteous. Be, you know, give him a common courtesy of saying, "Hey, Sean, you know, I saw you on the Kong Family Show, and you know, I felt compelled to reach out to you." But don't just send him a friend request. Send him a friend request, and then hit that message button, and send him a message telling him how you found him and why you're sending him a friend request. And that's just something that I'm in a constant plea over. Please tell me why you sent me a friend request. Don't just send me a dang friend request. And so with that, Sean, I would like to give you the opportunity to give out whatever information about you that you would like to give to our guests, so that they can hook up with you, so that they can follow you, that they can, you know, call you, that they can work with you, whatever. I'm here to resonate, get people working with each other. And, you know, that's how we're changing the world. So what kind of information do you want to give to our guests?
Okay, so the very first thing is if you found me on this video and I motivated you, I will be there for you to help you do your thing. But if you found me on this video, please reach out to John, because if it wasn't for his video, you wouldn't have found me. He also needs to have an ability to help you as well. I will be your motivator. I will be able to help you and answer questions, doing whatever you want to do. I think it's really important that in time that we share the wealth and we share the health, because there's so much more to this than anybody sees. We're not in competition with each other. We're actually helping each other grow. And you can find me at Facebook at 9.5.life or 9.5 Life. That's my page for Condom Water. Seajo Fit, SeaJoFit. You can find me there, or Sean Rice, SeanRice. On Instagram, I am the Sean Rice, and on Twitter, the same thing, the Sean Rice, because there's just only one me. So, but if you get me on a messenger, you can connect through me whatever you want, and I will be there to answer your questions. I will tell you this though, because I do get a lot of questions, and John will tell you, I don't always answer the instant or the messenger on Facebook. So please just click me, like write to me in the feed, and then I will come back to you that way, and then we'll connect in the other side. Or if you have a big personal question, tell me that you wrote me a DM. The reason is because some weeks I get 800-900 messages in my messenger, and it overwhelms me. So I'm always in the feed. So tell me that you DM'd me, and I will get back to you. Okay? So that's how I do it. That's pretty much it.
I love it. That's exactly what I'm hoping to do around here. And I want everybody to know that, you know, it's amazing, Sean, because this is the first time that we've met and had a chance to really talk, and it's been such an incredible pleasure and a gift, and so grateful. You know, I'm just so grateful for this platform and the gifts that I get on a daily basis from people like yourself. And it's amazing how similar we are in our thought processes on this. And, you know, perhaps that's why everything just kind of aligns so perfectly for you to come on the show today. And, you know, I'm here to help people. I don't care whose group they're in. I don't care. I don't care whether you bought your machine from me or whether you bought it from whoever. It doesn't matter to me one bit. If anybody ever wants to reach out to me, they know how to get a hold of me, and I'm always here to help. And it seems like you're right there in that same ballpark, Sean. And I'm trying to get people to resonate in that department, to realize that it doesn't matter whether somebody's in your group or not. You can still share. You can still help. You can still be there to give some of your time, and that's always going to come back to you tenfold if you do it. And, you know, I've met people in the online world who, if you're not in their group, you won't get the time of day from them, and they'll want $500 an hour to talk to you. And that's just not my style. That's not the way I roll. I'm here to help people no matter what, no matter who, no matter where. And there's only one prerequisite for me, and that's it. You got to be willing to help yourself. But if you're willing to help yourself, I'm here to help you. And a long time ago, I decided that I wasn't going to help people who won't help themselves. And, you know, because I can't. You simply can't help somebody who won't help themselves. And so that's a big part of why I do what I do, why I've put this platform together, why I'm trying so hard to keep it consistent and be doing it every single day, because I just know that we are going to manage to accomplish our goal of changing the world, and it is happening, and we get to see it every single day. And with that, Sean, is there any last thing that you would like to say to our listeners before we sign off for the day?
I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and open your mind to being able to grow. If you're coachable, that means that you're going to be able to help other people for down the road. It's not about me. It's not just about you. It's about something that we have that can help another person, if not yourself, get a result that they need and want. I could just put the product right in front of a person's face and it will never, ever get into their hands. If it's not with your story, it's got to be with your heart, and the two go side by side. I sat with a bunch of people and this past weekend, and I learned one thing, that being nice, being kind, opening your mind to sharing the technology with other people is so important, because they just don't know it exists. The possibilities of helping them is actually a lot larger than we think. And if you start getting told no, 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 work on your story and make your epiphany bridge the most important part to connect with them. John's story might be the story that they need to hear. Patrick's story might be that other person's story that they need to hear. My story might be another person's story. Rodger, his story might be something that resonates with another person. So it's not just about us, and that's why I believe in the family movement, a team movement, because you are able to impact people larger than you know. And if you don't know the answers, that's okay. Tell them you don't know the answers. Just say, I'm going to try to find out for you. And that's really what I have to say. Be compassionate, live with compassion, live the life that you feel like you want to live, and go for it. And don't let anybody hold you back. Get out there and do it. And that's it. I love this long part. I'm 9.5 life. We're very prim and proper. We do go green, go clean. And you're Kong, and I'm like, this is me normally. I love that. I'm so proud to be a part of this family now.
Well, we're happy to have you as part of the Kong family. And like I told you earlier, everybody that owns a Kong and water machine is, in my opinion, part of the Kong family. I always say, how do you think that gorilla got so big? He was out there in the jungle drinking Kong's water from the base of that waterfall. And so it's been a tremendous blessing and a tremendous gift to my life. And it's changed me in so many different ways that even my wives realize it. And that's pretty exciting. And so, Sean, thank you so much, buddy, for taking your precious time to get in here with us and share so many golden nuggets with the family. And this is getting recorded. It is going to, but by the end of the day, I'll have it put up onto the YouTube channel, and I'll send you a link so that you can share this out with anybody that you'd like to, and so that people can continue to watch this as time goes by, because we just never know who we're going to resonate with, who's going to make a difference, and whose life we're going to change. And that's just all there is to it. We are the
It's
Kong
amazing, actually.
family, and we are here to change the world. And we are doing it. We are doing it one glass of 9.5, one lightning bolt in a box, one amazing guest, and one incredible family at a time. And so, once again, Sean, thank you very much for gracing the show today. And I look forward to following you and seeing some of. I'd love to see some of your performances. So
I'll go on my feed.
We want to see some of that stuff and share it out and let people know that you're part of the family. And I don't care where people get their machines from. I just care that they get them. That's the important part of the whole equation, kids. This is the most important thing that a human being can do, not only for themselves, but also for any other human being. And so it's incredible. It's life-changing. It's world-changing, and it's happening. And you guys, as usual, we end this show with this. Don't forget your hugs, kids. Do
Aw.
not forget your hugs.
Self-hug. Love yourself to love others.
Love you guys so much. Thank you, Sean, once again. Really appreciate it. And look forward to jumping back on again as time goes by. If you ever have anything you want to share, you're like, hey, you know, this might be something good for the Conk family. Let's get a hold of Jay and say, hey, I want to come back on. I got something special. I got a guest. I got somebody that needs to come and share some magic. Because one thing about it, man, trying to put this thing on 7 days a week, it's turned out to be a heck of a thing trying to get somebody on every day as a guest. And so that's a constant barrage of work, but it's a labor of love. And I get to meet so many awesome people and get to hear so many incredible stories. And I'm just watching lives change every single day. And it's beautiful.
There's actually solutions for that. So I'll come on with you another time and I'll explain that part. Because we never talked about the business side of things, of what we do and how we do it, really. And I'd love to be a part of that with you.
Absolutely, man. I'm always into, you know, anything that we can do to bring value every day. That's the big thing. We need to bring value to the table every day. And sometimes that involves business talk. Sometimes it involves health talk. Sometimes it just involves hearing stories and all that. But that's what we're doing, baby. That's how we're going to change the world. So thank you so much once again, Sean. Thanks for being here, Roger, Patrick. Great talking to you. And good luck with getting yourself a machine. It's going to change your life. I promise you. Make it happen. And
something's going to happen.
All have a great day. Once again,
look at that beautiful
get
K8.
your hugs and your HooDeeHoooo.
Never leave home without your K8. It's the best.
Love you guys. Have a great day.
Great day. Bye-bye.
Bye, Rach.
Change your life. Change
Bye,
someone
Rach.
else's too. HooDeeHoooo.
Oh, Sean, you just got here. Where have you been?
I've been off out in cell phone Wi-Fi la la land, man. My bad.
Oh,
I
it's all
came into
good.
town though. I just came into town here about a half hour ago. I thought it was done. I went on to live and I'm like, I got to get on this cat's interview.
Hey, we'll come back again next week, maybe. I'll come back and I'll join up with you. And you guys organize the time and we'll figure it out, okay? You got my cell phone.
We'll make it happen. You bet. I'm on the road, but hey, sorry I missed it. I'll dig the replay. Look forward to dialing in with you.
Don't fall asleep too fast, okay?
All right, kids.
All right, peace out.
Have a great one.